A man without a plan is what? Well, it's a trick question, because a man without a plan isn't a man at all. February 7th, I got a plan. I want to bring everybody together, and we're going to talk about and manifest the tools, the strategies, how to save ourselves. Now, what do we need saving from? Well, the first thing you must save yourself from is yourself, because we have a lot of self-sabotage. Nobody's personally in your home oppressing you. What happens is your mindset, the lack of shifting into a new world and updating yourself to current time reality, utilizing the resources, the technology, right, and utilizing each other. But how can you do those things if you don't have a strategy? So I want us to come together February 7th at the Gramercy Theater so that we can have strategies in place to control our future. Times are very certain when you're confident about what you're going to do, regardless of what happens. Let's get into flow state. Let's look good, let's feel good, and make sure you put on some of that smell good too. We're building out the future of our world. Only the most powerful people will show up. That's why I'm happy you will be there. Get your tickets, go to 19keys.com, reserve your spot now. Peace, family. Ain't nobody gonna save you. You gotta save yourself. You gotta save yourself. You gotta save yourself. You gotta save yourself. You gotta save yourself.
Feel the energy in the room for a second. We not here for a concert. We not here for no nigga shit.
Talk about it again. Say it again.
We here for progress. We here for freedom. We here to heal. Because we've been hurting for a very, very, very long time. We talk about wealth, financial literacy, and it sounds great, but none of that matters until you heal within. Black men, I don't think we've ever been seen. I see you. I've been through the hurt, I've been through the pain, I've been through the situations that put us in the darkness. We have some of the worst statistics of all people throughout America, but nobody speaks on you. And somehow you're just supposed to figure it out. See, empathy, as he talked about, has to be employed within each other. Black woman, I see you. You've been hurt. You've been beaten. You've been abused. You've been mistreated and forgotten about and disrespected for a very long time. And now you've decided that you're going to be your own man. Now, where does that leave us? Because human beings need a role to play in order to function inside a purpose. Is that right?
Yes.
So we talk about there's gender wars. Ain't no gender wars unless we start being attracted to each other. You can't be in love with your enemy. Every single day a brother buying a car and some shoes for a woman. So we talk about gender wars, but that's not true because, fellas, do y'all still love the women? Yes. Women, y'all still love the men? Yes. I don't know, women was louder though, I don't know. Ladies looking for a man tonight. They said yes, that's why we came. Y'all better pay attention, be more. But I bet they don't want a broke man. Oh look, they was just as loud. You all can take a seat. When something is broken, I take my computer. When something is broken, that means it doesn't work. So a broke man is not really about his pockets. It's about his mind. Because man was given the ability to produce his thoughts into his reality. So in order to know if a man is working, he's saying that he can take those thoughts, those ideas, those visions. They're not fantasies, they're not wishes, they're not illusions. And he can bring that into reality to show proof of his productivity, to show proof that his mind is working. He can literally take the light of his mind and show you the constructs of what's inside of him by producing his will unto reality. And that's a man that a woman can love. But a woman can't submit to a man without a vision. She can't submit to a man who is non-productive. If you're not producing anything, what you need her for? Because she's there to help. But things become broken when there's something wrong internally, because we were born in a correct state. We were born with all our faculties, all our senses. So what happened to us during these times? There's this concept I want to talk about a little bit. This is this concept called pure et tearless, and it's called the internal boy. And it speaks about how, and it deals with the woman as well, how society never grows up. And we don't grow, then we never strengthen those parts of ourselves that allow us to work the best. So it's called pure eternus, meaning the eternal boy. Now this was a concept that came from philosophers, right? To imagine those inner faculties that we have as we grow up. But the problem what becomes, especially with a lot of the unfathering that we had in society, is that we didn't have a father to construct our identity off of, because the father is the mountain. You look at your father and he gives you the mountain that you must climb or conquer in life, because your father is not supposed to make you like him. He's supposed to make you better than him. But if you don't have your father, you seek that source outside of self. And if you're over-mothered, then you maintain being a boy forever. So you have nothing but consistent adolescent fantasies. Today we see this happening. Young males don't want to dress like men, talk like men, act like men, work like men, right? They want to be more what? Like the woman. So we go get the nails done, get the purses, wear your fashion, speak like you. It sounds funny, but when I start really digging into our psychology of what's going on, because you can't get mad at a person because of the symptoms and effects, but the root illness that they have, right? And the issues that they have, no, that's what we have to diagnose. We look at young men today and we see the violence in our communities and the poverty in our communities and the aggressiveness that we have. I heard somebody was fighting over seats earlier. I get why you fighting over these seats. It's the highest level. But see, the thing is, it was this doctor. He did these brain scans, and he found out that a lot of the issues and the problems that we have, because there's something wrong with our brain. There's regions in the brain where you have overexcited activity, or some regions you don't have enough. So, you know, when a person does a crime or too aggressive and violent, we have sentenced them to jail, but they may need treatment. So when we grow up in environments where the zip codes are targeted to where we can't get nutrient available foods, we don't have resources, we're in a constant threat of violence and danger, what this does is triggers our nervous system. So what happens if you're in the jungle and all of a sudden you see a lion walk up? Your body nervous system is going to send signals all throughout it, and it's going to freeze you up like, don't move. If you do, you know what might happen. Now let's say that lion walks away. You may still be frozen for a minute, even though the threat is gone. Now it's caused trauma in the body that whatever happened to you is no longer happening, but you're still responding and feeling it. So you walking through that jungle nervous as hell, because you don't know when that lion may pop up. And that's the same thing that happens to us throughout life as we experience different traumas. Most of the emotions that we feel are not of today. They're of yesterday. They're of the past. 80% of the decisions that we make are emotional based and not on today's emotions. So a person give you some information, but fear narrows your window and your worldview of things. So you can't think beyond today. You can't think beyond what you feel. So the brother's talking about stocks and options. Some people heard it, but a lot of people didn't listen. They just pass you wealth that maybe somebody in your environment have never told you ever, but because you still worried about next week, you worried about the issues with the baby mama and the daddy and the job and the bills that you can't pay. You can't think larger. You can't think from a global perspective. How we gonna take over the world if all we got is local issues? So when we talk about what's broken, What's broken is the fact we got so much fear and trauma inside ourselves, and the person that we represent to the world is not who we really are. Maybe who we want to be, but we got our public side. We show the world. We come out. We look good and clean. This is the best we can do with our resources. Let people see who we are. So we talk to. Then we got our private self. We only let the friends and family get to know that person, right? That's when your personality comes out. That's when you're a whole different person. You one person at the job, but when you go home, shit. Done with that. Where we at? We outside tonight? All the little square talk done, it done shriveled up. Then you got your secret self. Now that's the part that only you know about. That's your shadow life. That's that part when you go home, you dealing with your own issues, your vices. That's the part of the self you don't really want to be in, you don't want nobody else to see. That's the part that may bring shame to you and guilt. And see, shame, you're not supposed to live in shame because shame makes you think that you're evil. And when you do that, it rots you and destroys you from the inside, and you can't really make no move because you're so ashamed. But you have to feel some in order to change, because shame is the lowest. That's the bottom. You can't go below shame. Once you're living in shame, that's when the depression hits. The suicidal thoughts hits. That's when you're in a constant state of panic and attack and anxiety. But the beauty of it is when you get there, now you can go up. So now you understand it. Why do I feel this? So I'm talking about this subject because I've been teaching about spirituality. I've been teaching about wealth, money, technology, AI, all these things. And I realized none of that matters until we get our shadow selves together, because people can't take the information and execute. You can't give birth from a broken womb. And so the womb that a mind has or the man has is his mind. See, the woman, y'all got two wombs. You got the mind and the body. A man just worry about his mind because he want to be able to take those thoughts. He want to be seen for what he produces so that he can say, I have value. You want to be able to go home, look in the mirror, and love the person that you see. But all you got is critique. Now, stress is not a bad thing. But to be sad all the time, most of it comes from the SAD, the Standard American Diet. See, now when I talked about that pork, people ain't like it. I know some of y'all love that bacon in here. I get it. And it ain't just that. There's so many different vices that we have, right, that can go against us, that creates the stress, the anxiety, the depression, the suicide. So one sad creates more sads. And we living in a world that's mad. Mobilization, automation, digitization. The whole world is increasing in the technological advancements on a daily basis. And what this does is it decreases our emotional intelligence. So now we start to rely on these machines for gratitude, for dopamine hits, and to feel good. You can't wait to get ready, take a picture, put on a filter, post it, get a like so you can feel good about yourself. That's too many steps between self-love. So, I would love to just get up here and just talk money, but I know we got problems. It's money screaming at us all the time. Get options, do stock, do Turo, do Airbnb, learn AI. This is the greatest time in the world to be able to make some money if you're not in front of yourself. So what starts the procrastination? Most of it is fear. Fear of failure, fear of success. I don't know if I actually do it now. I got responsibility. I don't know if I'm good enough. So the boy fantasizes about doing things, but the man gets himself and put to work. So how do you know if you're a boy or man? How long you been settling with a thought and an idea and you've been feeling a way that you great, but you ain't actually been doing shit great? See, I want people to take this energy that's in the room today, because I come from where you come from. I come from the streets. I've had multiple cases. I didn't experience every childhood adverse experience that you can that's in a book, but I transmute trauma and turn that into overachievement. So we're not living in the time of the excuses. They say by 2053, black people ain't gonna have no wealth. I don't believe it. It could be true. Y'all believe it? All right, a little louder than that. So what we gonna do in place? Because we gotta have a vision. Vision gives direction, it determines destination. Anytime you have a vision, you're guiding yourself along those steps. But if they implant the vision in your mind, especially in the black and the brown mind, you seed that. And once you seed it, you are impregnated with their thoughts, their ideas, and then you give birth to that because that's all you know. So if you're listening to music that's low vibrational, and now all it's doing is keeping you aggressive all the time, so somebody hop in your seat, nigga, get off, right? It ain't gonna have you in the mode to where you in relax, you chill, anything happen, it's like you just got $1 million. Mother could push you, you know what, you got that. I'm in bliss right now. Whatever you trying to start, you won. That's where we at when we in bliss. We feeling good, we got heaven, right? Heaven is a mindset. So when we live and we exist at heaven, we working to get to our highest level. We look at the person that we are and say, man, this is my lowest level. I've been greater than this. I know I can produce a greater fathom in my imagination. I done been at lower levels in my life and I was thinking, damn, what Future Keys on? Future Keys the whole time was standing in front of a crowd in B-More. Future Keys the whole time was selling out Apollo in London and Toronto. But I was stressed out at first. So I ain't have Future Keys money. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have his wardrobe, none of that. It sounded good in my mind, but I'm like, how we gonna get there? So when I create a vision, I create steps in order to bring that vision in reality. And it's very simple because it ain't just, in the Bible, it say be and it is, right? Be and it is a well-working, oiled mind. That means it's always doing things in the now and never the later. The boy is all about later on. The boy is all about maybe. The boy, I don't know. The man is, let's get it done. Let's do it. What's up? What's happening? That's man talk. So when you say be and it is, let's look up the word God real quick, right? I want y'all to understand something. I was looking this up earlier, and I say, man, this is interesting because people don't truly understand. We've been taught a lot of things, but experience is 100%. Experience is real truth. See, a lot of times, brothers like, man, you ain't teaching nothing new. I don't need to. Everything already been taught. I need to remind you. You ain't doing it. I ain't gonna lie, man. These other races, they overlapping us. Shout out to all my brown people in the building. Y'all be killing it. Shout out to my Asians in the building. There's a couple claps, I know. Y'all safe in here, by the way. We good. Yeah, come on, my brown people. Make some noise. Yeah. Because I study how y'all build wealth. I study how the Asians build wealth. I study how the Jews build wealth. And they have something over us that we don't have, and that's family. See, that boy, when that girl and that boy, when they break away from the home, that's when everything gets real. That's when you see who you are. That's when you have to figure out, you can see all your incompleteness, like, damn, I really don't have the skill sets that I thought I had without mom and dad, without the comfort, right? So you resort backwards. So instead of stepping into facing the world on a daily basis and executing and doing the things that were required to be a man, that anxiety make you fold up. I've seen it happen. I watch it happen every single day. I see nothing but boy men. And I'm like, damn, your mind never got the opportunity to fully develop. And you have to learn to face the challenges in life and work to become whole. But this is the reason why other cultures have, rites and rituals. You weren't just sent off because it's time to go to college. No, they'll send you to the woods, and then the Native Americans will send you into the woods first for 3 days, see if you can fend for yourself. Right? So now you're developing those skill sets and those traits that say, I'm ready to face the world as a man. But a lot of people go out there and they realize, like, damn, I'm not ready. They call it the Peter Pan syndrome. You're the boy, you think everything is magical, nothing is real. You got somebody always paying the bills, feeding you, clothing you. Then when you got to do that on your own, some of y'all done slept with some homosexuals in here. Them was man boys. I've been there. I ain't want a homosexual, you feel me? But I remember not having money and then trying to utilize the game that I had to get over because I was a boy. I didn't know how to manage life for myself. I didn't have those executive skill sets on how to think, how to process, and how to strategize. See, a strategist is a leader. He's a general. I don't just react to what happens in the world. I take a step back and I plan. And as a general, because I study the greatest generals in time, like Hannibal Barca. How many people know Hannibal Barca? Come on now, Hannibal Barca was the father of military genius. He invented the art of surprise. A young brother, African brother over there, continuing his father's war, the only one to beat the Roman Empire. But when you talk about strategy and you talk about, let's say we talk about currency wars and they talk about the net worth of black people to be zero by 2053, what's your strategy? No, we're not just gonna react and get mad and post stuff on social media. I took a look at this and I said, okay, well, the reality of it is it's based on us having zero assets, because that's what wealth is. It's time, money, resources, and knowledge. Right? You got a lot of time, that's a lot of wealth. A lot of resources, that's a lot of wealth. Right? A lot of money, that's a lot of wealth. A lot of knowledge, because the knowledge can make the difference between something being a liability and an asset. Right? Because if you don't have the knowledge, a person can give you an asset that becomes a liability. I can get you a phone today and you'll be scrolling all day trying to distract yourself because of the anxiety that it builds up when it's time to do something. So that's a liability for you. Or if I give you the knowledge, then I tell you and I instruct you on how to get something done, now you're using it to build a media empire. You're building it to start your Shopify store. You're doing it to learn marketing, and you're educating yourself. So what's a liability in the hands of a fool is wealth in the hands of the wise man. So every single thing that I pick up, I figure out how to transmute that. So when we dealing with these currency wars, I say, number one, how many people in here own some gold? How many people here own at least $100,000 in gold? I don't want you to get robbed. Put your hand down. I ain't got no gold. This fake. We painted this. You know what I'm saying? No, but I looked at it. I said, okay, what's the simplest way when we get to the future that we can have some wealth? Now, of course, the most common ways in order to build wealth, right? Life insurance, stocks, land, right? And businesses. Businesses give you a greater return. But today, you got to be a little more aggressive than that. You got to learn skill sets as well. Now, when we're talking about gold, though, gold is so interesting, especially because we're going through currency wars. Anybody see the bricks out there? Man, America may be in trouble. Now, what are you going to do? Because there's places I go to now, they're not accepting $1. There are places they're talking about we only do credit. Credit not even real. The dollar was only created to be backed by gold so that they can give you a paper back as a certificate for exchange. So I said, wait a minute. In order to be backed by gold, you only had to be backed from 20 to 40%. So you don't actually have to have this great store of 100% of gold to match it. If you have enough gold, you can go to the bank and you can leverage that and get a loan against it while keeping your current gold. You can get it insured. You can take a gold that you may have paid, under what its current value is, and then you can get it appraised. So when you get that insurance, and if you lose that, now they have to pay you out based on the appraisal rate. When we talking about gold and we talking about assets, if each one of you, every single paycheck, you took 20 to 40% of it and you bought you an ounce of gold, by 2053, how much would your family be worth? See, when we talk about assets, it's very simple. I like to simplify everything because we be making stuff too complicated sometimes, right? So if we say that every one of y'all last name is now worth how much? Because most people don't know what their net worth is if I ask you today. If I say your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities, that means you have your earned income, the amount of money that you make. Then you have your debt, so the amount of money that you owe. Then you have your assets, the value of those things that you've invested in, right? So how many people know what their net worth is off top? Raise your hand. See, we got to do better because we need to plan. So if everybody in here started to accumulate ounces of gold, especially as gold is being skyrocketed, silver is going to go up, right? Not only can you invest it in the physical sense, you can invest it in the stock market. Warren Buffett, 90-some years old, he just bought a whole gold mine last year. Why do you think he did that? Because he's trying to hedge against what's the upcoming market. So I need black people to have hedges. I need us to understand the financial climates versus us always reacting because we're just a reactive people sometimes. I know we smarter than that, so we go throw on the bag so that we can stunt and somebody can feel good about us. But I don't see nobody talking about I just bought me some gold so that my family last name is worth more. I don't see nobody saying, look, I just bought 20 acres of land. Now I have something with intrinsic value, a value that's never going to go down to zero. That's different. I don't see people developing the skill sets to say, you know, when the market go down, I'm going to learn how to play options so I can make money even if the fall of America happens. Then, not only that, we can create our own media just by people creating YouTubes. But how much of it do we do? Because if you're accumulating content for the last 10 years, those videos start to become a library that people is using like it's Google, and you making money on a daily basis. I see little kids making millions of dollars, so I got to ask, what's your strategy? If AI takes your job, let it have it. You're supposed to learn how to utilize the software because you're that intelligent. I see people already making millions and millions of dollars. They putting out books, have AI write the book, throw it on Amazon, looked up the most researched one, so now when people research it, their book is coming up and they making passive income. See, we have to be intelligent in this day and time because it's not about artificial intelligence, it's about our natural intelligence. So if you develop your natural intelligence, because artificial intelligence was based on the neocortex, our ability to think. So what is there to be afraid of? People say, why are you teaching it? It's everywhere. You think I'm pushing it? You think it's going to stop if I don't say nothing? See, we got a problem where we're so fearful because of trauma, because of the way our relationships have been formed, that every time something happens, we form a fear-based relationship with it. We have financial trauma, we form a fear-based relationship with that. So if you're never in a state of relaxation, of rest and calmness, your nervous system is overactive all the time. You're always waiting for something to happen. That's a traumatic response. So when we talk about working through those things, number one, we don't even know how to breathe correctly. You ever notice when you get angry, you start to pant a little bit? That's losing control. So we may be judging people on what they do, not realizing that we're all different. So we have such a generalized society, but we don't have knowledge of self. So we don't even know the proper treatments and the diagnosis for who we are. What may work for one person, I want y'all to try this. So let's see, put your hands like this. See if you can count your heartbeats. How many people in here can count their heartbeats? Raise your hands high. So the people that can count their heartbeats, they're more external people, right? So they may feel on the outside more, right? Instead, they can ignore internal processes. The people who can't, or the people who might, hold on, I got that wrong. Those are people that's internal, in your mind more, right? So socializing can bring anxiety sometimes because you be overthinking. Anytime something happens with you, your mind and your focus goes all to that area. I'm one of those people. So somebody could tell you to meditate, but that meditation may just increase that particular area and have you overthinking now. So they may not be good for you. So you may have to focus on trying to observe things on the outside so that you're not overstimulated through your senses. But this, what happens is we get information on social media and we generalize it, we don't customize it. So when we don't know ourselves, we don't know which information is for us and which information is not for us. So this is why I teach the customization versus the generalization. And see how everybody know what their star chart is, but you don't know what your personality type is. We may not know our blood type. We don't know our brain type. How are we living and not knowing who we are? Why do you spend money? Why do you do the things that you do? Without understanding your trauma, you can't understand nothing about you. I learned recently, there's different childhood types, right? I learned that I'm the rescuer. So I find love by always helping others. That's how I find my need, right? Constantly helping others. Anybody else like that? Then there's some people that's like, let's say in the women category, if you were the pretty type, you was always told, oh, you so pretty, you so nice. So now you grow up with this complex, always being passive, never wanting to hurt nobody. So now you're always super cooperative for no reason. See, we have to understand what happened to us as children to understand the adult that we are today, that we've wrapped ourselves around. So if we're teaching information, right, you're calculating that based on who you are, so everybody's not having the same experience. You're having an individual experience based on your world. So when I tell people I can change the world, and they say you change the world by changing yourself, because you changing your thoughts, you changing your habits, you changing the way you see things, the way you view things, the way you hear things. Everybody has a different perspective. Two people can go through the same exact experience, but the attitude determines how that person seen it. You know what, it wasn't even that bad. This person mad you ain't stressing. Like, no, I'm just cool. Because you may automatically become future oriented. You know what? Let me start thinking about the future. I think things gonna be better. You get out of relationship, all right, who I got next? It is what it is. It's gone now. Hey, it's gone. I already spent the money. I ain't tripping. How I'm making my next dollar? I just got in a car accident. Oh, well, we gonna figure out what's the process. You become future oriented. You ain't stuck in the emotions of the past. It already happened. Those are the people that's the generals. They learn how to lead. And then you got the masters of us. Everybody ain't masters. We done told everybody he was kings and queens, but honestly, some people's family was the cooks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's okay. But creating this status of you got to be a king, you got to be a queen, you got to be this, like, no. Your mom's probably the concubine. It's cool. I'm messing with y'all. Y'all like, whoa. Not my mama. She was the queen. Look, see, we saw egotistical good. Couldn't have been my mama. Somebody's mama had to be a freaknik. I'm just saying. But see, there is one thing that we all can be, and that's God's. See, See, I ain't saying you created the heavens and the earth. I ain't saying you did all that. Some people barely can create a business. You know what I'm saying? He ain't say you did all that, so relax. So listen, this high-level conversations, this is the highest level tour. The goal is to create new experiences. I wanted to give it up for all the people that came up here before me. We have to start creating new experiences so that we can create a new culture, because our culture is built on death. It's built on murder and disease, and it's built on this slow death, where we slowly trying to kill ourselves with the way that we eat, the way that we speak, the way that we talk, the way that we feel on a constant basis. We put death in the music, we put death in our relationships, we speak in death all the time. But why does that even matter? It matters because you're God, and you have such a powerful voice and such a powerful tongue that if you speak it over your life, it becomes an incantation, and you start to spell things into existence, and that becomes your world. So it's very important to know how powerful you are, because everything you say you not, you are, and everything you say you am, you are. Wow. So when we talk about the root word of God, right? One of it says the root word of God is to believe to be from the Germanic word gudan or gutan, meaning to evoke or invoke or to call upon. And it also has Proto-Indo-European roots of the word gutos, meaning throat or voice. So when we're talking about God, you have to think about it in the sense that everybody says they praise to God, but every time you say that, you are evoking something. So when a person says, I am, they're taking that place and saying that they're God. They have the ability to evoke. You literally sit at home And then you chant words and you use your voice and you believe that you evoke it and you can change things just by sitting at home. You playing God when you pray. Now, complaints are prayers to the devil. But when we speaking that positive favor over our life, we're still activating that energy inside us. And then when we operate at good at all times, we tap into that Christ consciousness. That's when you start to become a master, to where everything you say comes into reality, and you have to be careful of what you speak. Now, I know some of you all may have sensibilities, you may be Christians, Catholics, whatever it is, but when you understand that ye are all gods, and you tap into that voice and that power, and the reason that some of us don't want to be God is because you are praying to a false one.
That's right.
See, in slavery time, you believe that the one who created God, he had to be wrong, because morally that's the master, and anything that the master does must be wrong. So you take on a slave moral system. No, if I create my own God, I got to be wrong. I can't be nothing like master. No, when we left the fields, we were supposed to become our own masters. We're supposed to go back into the energy that we draw from that ancestral intelligence. We're supposed to, just the way our ancestors did when they built up Black Wall Street, they spoke that into existence. When we seen each other, we weren't saying hello, we were saying peace. We were saying assalamu alaikum, we were saying peace, God, because we were speaking energy into you. Now we walk around and just say, hello, what's up? No, I ain't got to ask you a question. I already know what's up. I know what's about to happen. We're about to change the world. You are, I give away most of all my knowledge, my energy, and my game in high-level conversations. When we come here, it's about creating a moment of energy and time to where we get to know ourselves. We get to be surrounded by people who mean no harm for us, who have love for us, who are there to be in that same spirit of transforming their lives as well. That job you're working in, that ain't you. Some of you all are with people you don't even need to be with. But when you start to love yourself and you know who you are from a self-aware state, because the cure is awareness. Once you become aware of something, you have power over it. But if you are operating in this state of unawareness, then you're dead in the unconscious. So we're trying to bring light to areas that's dark. But see, that darkness is the womb, so if you're going through something, you have to use the power of what you're going through in order to get through it so that you can grow. Each one of us have to realize that when you walk outside, that stomach in, that head up, your confidence is your competence. That's the work that you do and the training that you do to know that you're confident. You can confide in yourself. You know that you're going to stand up for yourself at any given moment. You're no longer passive. You have to be aggressive with your dreams. We have to stop procrastinating. Procrastination is that mental illness that we face on a daily basis, knowing we're supposed to be doing the work, but we keep distracting ourselves because it's too painful. That's trauma. What we waiting for, it's a whole planet out there for us to take over. But ain't nobody speaking to us like this. Ain't nobody telling you who you are, because they know if you knew who you are, you would take over everything. My parents told me who I was. They told me this planet was mine. They told me I was a god and I ain't nobody's boy. They told me stand up and speak power over your life and exhume who you are at all times. They told me what my history was, and it ain't started no slavery. It ain't started no chains. It started at the beginning of time. See, when you move with that kind of energy and spirit, everybody got to move out your way. Ain't no rules. They see me on different platforms. How you get on that? Because I wanted to. That's the energy you got to have. Stop being so weak and submissive as you go out in the world. Stop telling me you can't take up space. You toxic. Man, I don't listen to all that. You stand up and be who you are. You develop this knowledge. You develop this integrity. You envelop your morals and your goals, and you incorporate that into your self-design. You change your atmosphere as you move. They supposed to be like, you didn't change. I didn't evolve. I didn't grown. Absolutely. Why you going to see 19 Keys? Why you going to see niggas? Come on now. I know what they say when you want to change and you're in a toxic environment. They don't want to see you grow past where they are. So that's why you got to have self-love. I love myself so much, I don't care what you think. I know who I am. That power that we take, where we think about how we go build our families up. You gotta be that LeBron in your family. You gotta be that Keys in your family. And then you gotta tell everybody else, no, y'all gotta get around what we building. You get into position, damn it. So what we do, we give everybody a role. We build us a business. We go set up a trust. We set up the banking system, right? We set up the life insurance for them. We sit down and we have family meetings and we converse about how we go build up this family last name. We make sure that everybody is taking some money and putting it into some assets. We make sure that somebody in the family got a skill set. They know how to trade, they know how to do stocks, they know how to do marketing, branding, salesmanship, they know how to design, doing graphics, they know how to do social media, something. But you can't be walking around here like a bum with your head down. Get some work. That's what we came here for, right? Nobody gonna talk to us. That's the problem. Everybody be coddling us. No, we need to re-examine ourselves. That anxiety let us know how to survive and how to thrive. It tells us to push that there's another level. When you working out, you feel stressed, right? Because you have positives that you're trying and it's the weight that's negative. But the more that you put on, the stronger that you become, right? And then when you finally get your rest, that's when the muscles grow. So you have to understand how to incorporate that stress in your life. That's just telling you it's time to grow. That everything that you've been doing, no, you got to break out that shell. You got to take and examine your life. Put everything you want to be in front of it. Write it all down and figure out how to become that person. Most of the time when we don't know how to do something, it's because of ignorance. So what do? We educate ourselves. When I don't know something, I learn. I don't know what to do, I'm gonna learn. All right, now you got the knowledge, what you gonna do? All right, well, how come I'm not executing? Now you gotta deal with the internal processes. Damn, I know what I want to do. Matter of fact, you can go on ChatGPT, AI, whatever, get a step-by-step. So what is in front of you when it comes to giving birth? Why do we abort it so much? Because of the pain. We don't wanna go through the pain. So once we have self-awareness, and we figure out how to start by step one, and we get that step one, then we go to step two, and then step three, and then eventually you complete, but you stop looking and thinking about the results. You have to focus on the developmental process. See, when you focus on the process, you be working. It's like cleaning up your room. You picked up one thing, next thing you know, you look around, it's clean. When you walk in there and it's dirty as hell, you're like, oh shit, I got a lot of work to do, because you're thinking about doing all things. But when you start to create a strategic mind, you develop it by degree and faculties. And you say, this is step one, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna focus on doing this masterful. Because if you do step one lazy, you would do step two lazy and step three lazy, and that becomes your habit and your pattern. My father told me, whether you're the janitor or you're the CEO, you have to do your job masterfully. You have to learn how to mop that floor like the greatest mopper that ever existed. Because when it's time for you to work on your dream, you go, that same habitual habit and pattern that you have is going to find you everywhere in life. So we here to be what? High level. We here to be what? I just want these people up here to say I want y'all to say am. I want y'all to say high level. All right. See how it is when we work together? That's bringing God into it. That's our voice that we have. If we change the patterns of what we speak and we express, we create a whole different universe. But when we listen to music that's steady telling, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna hunt you down, I'm gonna murder you, fuck you niggas, bitches, hoes, and all that, what is it feeding into us? Ain't nobody telling us we high level. Ain't nobody giving us the game and the instructions. That's why we came to do it. Because I stopped waiting on everybody else. And we say, let me be what I want to see. That's the power. You came here to grab your power. Every single day, I need you to wake up and think about why you're grateful about life. I'm tired of hearing people complain. I need you to pick out, man, I feel so good daily because of this. I feel good about this. I feel good about that. Then you start to stack. That's a tool you use on a daily basis. You breathe. You think about future-oriented goals. You focus on the process. Now you got a growth mindset. We ain't got no losses. We take that, then we learn how to do better. I look for people who done lost the most because they know how to win. Yes. When we done been through the streets, man, I done lost so many people in my life I can't count. Now I know how to live. Because I seen the life that they can't live, I'm living it for them. By the age of 19, I probably had to have like 20 dead homies. That's not normal. But we're expected to go through trauma, transmute it through an alchemical process because we melanin beings. So we learn those codes and we learn how to become examples, and then we don't even look like what we've been through.
Right.
That's something that you all have within you. I'm so glad y'all came here today. Give yourself a round of applause. Because this is something new. This is something that ain't been done before. We came together simply for some enlightenment, some energy, some transformational experience. You got to sit through the boring information to live that good life. See, we think everything has to be entertainment. That's trauma again. We're trying to escape the pain. We're trying to escape the anxiety. We're trying to distract ourselves. So remember, when you're sitting there and you're scrolling on social media, you're trying to distract yourself. It's too painful. I don't want to deal with it. But when we say, you know what, nah, there's high-level conversations going on. I gotta be there. You didn't come for me. You came for you, and that's all right. You came because you know that this world is fake, it's broken, it's an illusion, and a new world is being brought up, and that word is gonna be brought up by the minds that tap in and master themselves. Can we get another one? Look at us. We ain't never met, but we here chatting together. That's our power. So let's take this oath to live at our higher standard of revolution. This oath to design the better version of ourselves, to speak a greater language, to have greater relationships, to foster a better existence, to conquer the reality, to conquer the technology, to understand our souls, to breathe better, to eat better, to have better operations on a daily basis, to work with family and learn how to communicate. Let's take this oath within to dedicate ourselves to our highest level, and may your current level be your lowest level. I'm 19 Keys. This has been your highest level experience. Are we low level or high level?
What are you really running from? That war that you think you're fighting ain't the real war. There are many wars that we go in different dimensions within self. The real wars are the inner world. It's the self-wars. Society has been programming us, shaping our very perceptions of reality itself. One that we did not choose, but one we must take over. There's no more waiting. Now is the time, because it's now or never. Open up your mind's eye to see reality the way that it is, not the way that you've been sold. Understand that you are one of the ones that have been chosen if you just choose yourself. Become your own solutions to every problem and every complaint, every excuse and every blockade that's been in your way. Vision gives one direction. When you're blind, you can never give yourself direction. So you fall. Instead of falling, stand up. Utilize the self-giving and governing power that you have within yourself to become a high-level observer. Not controlled by what you see, but one that controls what they see. That defines the meaning in their reality through every synchronicity that they come across. A divinely guided man and woman. High level forever. Stomach in, chest out, head up. How you teach a generation that don't know theyself? How do you give them the ability to be able to control the world? Not from an external point, but from an internal point. How do you teach them that the greatest enemy that they have ain't racism, ain't classism, ain't fascism, ain't poverty? No, it's the enemy that exists within. It's the self-war, the thought war that you go on a daily basis. How do you equip them with the tools to be able to win that war? You have to show them who they are so that they can customize their universe. We look at the technology and people talking that's the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is when you have a beast-like mind and don't have the ability to be able to control your nature. That's when we no longer operate from a soul place of morals and values and principles and vision. But we can name our entertainment every single day because we're distracted with escapism, because it's too hard to deal with the emotions that's required to heal yourself from the trauma.
How do you teach them to be able to encompass everything that they want to be, to take thoughts outside of their mind and see it in reality and not be satisfied with mediocrity? You have to give them the militance of discipline. You have to give them the rules of order. You have to show them the possibility in your own actions. You have to be courageous every single day, even if you don't want to do it. You do it because you have to. They've destroyed us, made us a desire-based society, always fall into the whims of your emotion without control of your mind. But when you teach, and you elevate, and you lead, and you encompass everything that you are on a daily basis, and you operate with that God mind, then you live above society, and you become one of the rulers and not one of the ruled. That's the highest level. Go in your mind, design the world, execute it. Build with your family, take your wealth, take your power, and quit waiting. Because ain't nobody gonna save you. You gotta save yourself.
The world may question you, but never question yourself. One thing for sure, the light always comes with darkness. The same thing that make you successful can be the same thing that break you. If you don't have self-awareness, this will be the thing that destroys you. But if you know yourself, everything is meant to make you stronger. Nothing can break you down. In the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan,